Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Crit. Sorry for the delay, but here is the latest news for Fire Emblem Engage. As of the time of this recording, we are at T-minus 2 months out from Fire Emblem Engage's worldwide release, and we've gotten an absolute flood of information in the recent days, a surprising amount of which has not been released in English yet. But thanks to folks like SatsumaFS and Serenes Forest, we've got some further insight into these new game details. For the first time in this new Japanese trailer, we get to see what female Aleer actually looks like when engaging with Marth, so that's pretty interesting. Up first, we also get to see Rosade, or Rosade? I'm not sure. But we get to see her up close and personal. In the recent second trailer for the game, she appeared alongside the rather clown-like Hortensia, potentially as her retainer or one of her close allies. And here we find that she shares more than just her curls and her axe usage with Camilla. She also rides a wyvern as the Draco Knight class and is present on this boat map, so that's pretty interesting. After some basic battle gameplay, the likes of which we've seen already, we then get to see Diamant, the Prince of Brodia from the second trailer, equipped with Byleth's emblem ring. Assumedly jumping back a bit, in this early game shot, we can then see that Aleer, Vander, Fram, and Cram have recruited the Serenes folks, Alfred, Boucheron, and 80. No Celine yet though, so perhaps soon after this chapter they also meet her in the Windmill Village, judging by the other trailer footage. So far it seems to me like these are going to be some of your earliest game characters, so keep that in mind. The trailer then goes into showcasing the extra benefits of equipping an emblem ring, like the stat increases, extra weapons and abilities that become aligned to the unit, and even the ally follow-up attacks.
さらにエンゲージすれば紋章師と合体エンゲージ中は特別な武器が使えたり
We also then get to see the new appearances of a few more of the emblem characters, Corrin, Byleth, and Lyn at this time. We've yet to see some of them still, like Erica, Micaiah, and so forth, but I'm sure we will in time as well. It's worth noting here that these characters' eye colors are a bit different now, I guess because of this emblem ring mechanic. Corrin, who usually has red eyes, for example, does not here, and I suppose this is to illustrate when the ring is used by an ally as opposed to an enemy, and when used by the enemy becomes the evil version perhaps, and maybe that's when her eyes turn back to red. Just my speculation, I guess. Engaging with Sigurd seems to give Alfred some incredible extra movement here, and then Alfred uses Sigurd's overdrive ability that we've seen before to rush through several enemies. With this ability in particular, it seems like the emblem rings will be a great replacement for gambits. Personally, I loved the battalion and gambit system in Three Houses, where you were capable of immobilizing and damaging several enemies at once with some careful planning. So I'm glad to see fun new effects that are reminiscent of those systems continuing on in further entries. Celine engaged with Celica, like in the original trailer, seems to grant her an ability that allows her to attack twice at a range of 2 tiles without moving, and also still has that warp ability that we saw briefly in the first trailer as well. There's a 50% here in the Japanese name, so I don't know if this is striking twice at 50% damage, 2 strikes instead of 1. I can't read Japanese, so I apologize for that. Also, keep in mind that when using Celica's ring, at least with Celica's tomes, you do lose HP with each cast of magic, just like you would in Echoes and Gaiden, Celica's games. There's also some fun shots here of Aleer speaking to Corrin, Byleth, and Lyn. It's unclear if these are all from the same hub world area or if we're going to have several different ones. I believe there was a mentioning in one of the leaks that that will actually be the case, that there will be multiple, so that could be pretty fun. Chloe here is equipped with Corrin's ring and is now officially a Griffin Knight, which is a returning class from Fire Emblem Awakening. It's really great to see this class again. It's one of the more underutilized ones throughout the series. It was fun to see originally, but then it kind of proceeded to never appear again. So I'm glad that one's back. And one of the abilities granted to her here by Corrin's ring heals allies in a 2-tile range surrounding her. There's also an enemy dragon here, or monster, though it is emblazoned with the Dragonstone icon, so we've got at least a little bit of enemy variety coming back here, which is nice. We then see this blonde-haired paladin equipped with Corrin's ring, seemingly named Amber in Japanese, and it appears the second effect creates some sort of water tiles on the battlefield. Perhaps this is reminiscent of Corrin's Dragon Vein abilities from Fates, and can change the battlefield terrain for a period of time. If there's any further expansion of this ability, this could create a lot of cool possibilities in terms of limiting enemy movement or changing terrain to other things, so that would be really cool to see. But in this particular case, it's really quick, but it looks like this might actually lower the enemy's avoid on these particular tiles by 30. making them much easier to hit. We also get to see Corrin's Dragon Fang shot here, hello again, and it's used to damage and debuff 3 enemies in a line. Alchrist, who is the younger brother of Diamant from the second trailer, is engaged here with Byleth, and it's fun to see the varied hair colors and looks of each of the characters when they engage. Every character seems to get the same outfit with each ring when engaging, which does make sense, but it's also a completely new outfit from their base one, so that at least is some fun variety there. In Alchrist's inventory, we can see Fail Not, which was Claude's relic bow weapon from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and at another point in this trailer we get to see Eimer, or Amir, Edelgard's axe. It's unclear if engaging gives the character a weapon based upon their class or weapon ranks, or if these weapons can be unlocked through upgrading the rings. We'll have to see. But it's fun to see a variety of weapons come from each ring that harken back to their respective games, so that's really cool. Thanks to Serenes Forest's translations, we know that Alchrist's class here is called Tiralure, which in real-life history were French light infantry trained to skirmish ahead of the main columns of soldiers. So it seems we're getting some French-inspired new classes to go with the French character names too. One of Byleth's abilities grants allies within 2 spaces +5 to some of their stats, perhaps some kind of buff, and also some support bond points. Another allows allies 1 tile away all around the unit to act again as a powerful multi-dance refresh technique, which is cool. In this shot, we can also see Hortensia's other retainer or ally character too. This is the brunette from the second trailer. In Japanese, her name is Goldmarie, and she's in the hero class, in this case, more specifically, Brave Hero. The redhead from the second trailer is also revealed to be named Yunaka here. She's the Anna lookalike character that we saw very briefly in that recent trailer with the stars on her face, and she is in the thief class here, so that's pretty interesting. And last but not least, there's Lynn's ring. This is Ivy here, who's the Wyvern Rider / Malignite character that we saw both from the original leaks and also more up close in the recent second trailer. She's looking pretty massively different here when engaged to Lynn, and without her little face blocking thingy. And she gets to do 3 chain attacks with no enemy follow-up, and then even cast a magic spell afterwards too. Engaging or fusing with the ring character ends in 3 turns, at which point you go back to the synchronized mode, which is what seems to be the standard Emblem ring mode, where the ally will simply help the unit in battle. It's possible to engage again by recharging the gauge through fighting, so be sure to evaluate the situation carefully when considering using your engage mode. In this short Japanese clip posted to Twitter separately, we get to see Lapis of Brodia using the Marth ring, as well as Vander, Fram, and Rosade also using the engage function with him. This further illustrates the likelihood that every single character will be able to engage or fuse with each ring character and become even more powerful. In my original speculation, I figured that perhaps only certain characters would be able to engage with certain rings, maybe those that made more sense. For example, in the first trailer we saw Alir with Marth, Alfred with Sigurd, and Celine with Celica, and their weapon types lined up. So that's kind of what I was thinking there, but clearly they've gone the extra mile here, and it looks like every single character should be able to engage with every ring. However, there are going to be some extra abilities for more defined matches. Emblem Marth's engage technique called Star Rush unleashes multiple blinding strikes dealing massive damage. When used by a dragon though, it hits an extra 2 times, making it perfect for Alir. This highlights that some characters will have added effects with certain rings. It's also worth noting that Vander is an axe fighter in this clip here, which is different from his original class that we've seen him in, so that's pretty cool and worth noting. There's a bunch of new characters here, many of which we saw in that second recent trailer, but a few new faces too. We now get to see a great shot of Citrine, the Brodian mage from the first trailer's clothing shop scene, looking through some of the rings and the associated stat boosts from each. You can see that Celica's, more importantly, raises her magic stat for more potent magic damage. There's also this almost Day of the Dead / Dia de los Muertos looking girl with Byleth here, which is pretty interesting. Clearly a recruitable character we'll get at some point. Maybe she's from Illusia 2, judging by her outfit. At this particular moment in the trailer and in the game, it looks as though Tamara and Fogato, the 2 darker-skinned characters from the Sand Kingdom of Solm, have been recruited here, but we're also back in the Windmill Village area from the early game, so that's pretty interesting. It's also worth noting that in this trailer in general are various maps and battlefields, some of which you may be surprised and excited to learn are returning battlefields from previous Fire Emblem entries. This map is the River Thracia map from Chapter 22 of Fire Emblem Thracia 776. This famous map harkens back to the conflict between Leif's army with Ulwyn against her enemy brother Reinhardt, who you might know pretty well from Fire Emblem Heroes. This map here is a familiar map of Sakai from Fire Emblem Binding Blade. This is the infamous booby-trapped bridge map from Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. And this map from the end of the trailer showcases another Fire Emblem Binding Blade map, this time the Sword of Seals map featuring the Shrine of Seals where Roy gets his sword. There's even enemy Wyvern Riders here just like the original map too. So I wonder if there's also going to be constant reinforcements like the original. That's scary. But the real question is, what will this mean exactly? Are these tied to the Emblem rings at all, or are they merely just throwback maps to honor the series with this 30th anniversary entry? Or will there perhaps be various modes or areas in the game that go through time and space? It doesn't seem likely, if you ask me, but we'll have to see. Maybe these are just common areas on the world map that do harken back as kind of an homage to the series. Alir fused with Byleth gives her purple hair, and also Edelgard's Eimer axe. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it was pronounced Amir, but quite frankly, that's not how it's spelled, so I don't tend to use that pronunciation, so apologies in advance. This ability from Eimer knocks the enemy back one space after combat. Alir's class is Divine Dragon King here, so perhaps it's after a class upgrade and from a point further on in the game. We then get to see a new character, Sidas, who is a male dancer, a pretty rare combination, and he's using Corrin's Ring to cast some ice or blizzard effect on tiles in front of him. Next up is another new character, Malene, who is a Wolf Knight classed character, and she is also engaged with Lyn, and gets to use Lyn's effect to create illusions or shadow clones, basically, onto the battlefield. They then directly contribute in combat, striking at the enemy multiple times, so perhaps that's their only purpose, but I do wonder if this will work anything like the phantoms that were summonable in Fire Emblem Sacred Stones by the Summoner class. Those remained on the battlefield, and the enemy AI had a fun time targeting and ripping those guys apart. They were really great distractions for the AI. There's also various screenshots that have been posted to the latest Nintendo website article, which shows off some more characters as well. We get to see two characters seemingly from Solm that were in the second trailer, who appear to be Pandoro and Bonnet. Pandoro is a high priest and equipped with Celica's ring. He's the orange-haired guy from the second trailer, and I'm wondering if maybe these two are Fogato's retainers, considering they do seem to be coming from the Sand Kingdom Solm, and we haven't seen anybody associated with Tamara or Fogato yet. Bonnet or Bonnet is a great knight and equipped with Corrin's ring. We also get to learn that the armored female character who looked quite similar to Claire from the new trailer is named Jade. Jade is engaged with Corrin, and we get to see her using Dragonfang. Louis is a general here and engaged with Lyn, and there's also an interesting female-looking paladin in the background here that I'm currently unsure about. I find it interesting just how many characters they're revealing to us here, so hopefully this won't be the entire cast, but it is kind of fun to see all these new faces. There's also some new screenshots posted to the official website that reveal that Tamara and Fogato's classes are Vigilante, maybe revealing a bit about their current standing in regards to the Kingdom of Solm. We also get to learn that Hortensia's class is Tamer, just like we've seen Ivy having, which makes sense because those two are related, and we'll talk about that in another video. If you'd like to learn more, my previous video breaking down the first trailer for Engage goes even further in depth with some of the potential minor details about this game, so be sure to check that out. I will be back soon though with some more Fire Emblem Engage content talking about some of the other news like character names and such, so I hope you'll look forward to that as well. Are you excited for Engage? What are your thoughts? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. The trailer begins with a mural, very reminiscent of the one that we were shown in Fire Emblem Three Houses. This time though, we can see the two dragons, the white one probably representing the Naga of this world.